Time for the 49ers Rush podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? Welcome to another episode of the 49ers Rush podcast. And every single day, this gets that much closer, just that much closer to what we're all here for, right? I preach community and all that stuff and positivity. But at the end of the day, we're here for one reason. And one reason, what is that? It's 49ers football, baby. And we're close. How close? 5 days, 18 hours, and 38 minutes till kickoff versus the Bears. It's fresh in the air, man. It's fresh in the air. I'm so pumped. I'm flying out Thursday, so I feel like the week's even a little more abbreviated than what's out there. But I mean, it's Labor Day as we're recording this, and hopefully everybody got a break. You got to spend time with family. I got lucky enough. My wife and we took the dog paddle boarding, which is a statement I never thought I'd say in my life, but we had a good time. Went out to the ocean this morning, had a good time. But man, I was just so anxious to get back because it's just like, I have all of these clips and notes. So like whenever I do a show, usually, I don't know, anywhere between, 1 to 5 pages of notes, just jot down kind of stuff I want to hit on. Plus I have videos that, the great Juan Solis has cut up or I've cut up. And sometimes I just don't get to them, whether I skip over them by accident or a show goes a different way. And I'm sitting there and just in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, there's so much stuff I wanted to get to. I haven't got to yet. It doesn't matter how much you record. You're never going to get everything. But I sat back and I was like, man, I got to do something. Like I got to get this stuff out there. And I'm with you, Kali. He says, man, can you feel the excitement in the air? Let's go. Week 1 is here, baby. I love all the CCs. Hashtag CCs. Get them in there. What's up, Shajay? Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Countdown crew. Strong in effect. And so anyway, like as I have all these like tidbits and notes on some avenues I wanted to go down and address, it was like, man, let's just jump on. Go back through my notes, grab different parts from different show notes that I didn't get to that I wanted to, that I think have a lot of meaning. And so that's what today's going to be. Now, also on top of that, 49ers just continue to add to their practice squad. And they signed a linebacker, which is interesting. And we'll talk about why. They add linebacker Buddy Johnson. This is another player that has not been in the Shanahan sphere of loyalty, right? Like we know about Shanahan's loyalty system, but he's an upside player. Now, he was a 4th round pick just last year, number 140 overall, 6'2", 240. So he checks the box of 49ers linebacker size and athleticism. And yeah, he went to Texas A&M, which I'm not going to hold against him. Hook 'em horns, baby. And he had a pretty good year at A&M. He got played time all 4 years, but was really just a 2-year starter. 209 tackles, 23.5 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 1 interception, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recovery. And, what I thought was interesting, anytime I see somebody come from Texas college, I got to dig deeper. He played at Kimball High School in Dallas, which he has in common with another 49er on the practice squad, Tayshawn Gibson. Now, there's a big age discrepancy between the two, but both Tayshawn Gibson and now Buddy Johnson, both from Kimball High School, which is interesting. Also, the only 2 Kimball football players in the NFL currently on the same practice squad, which might not interest anybody else besides myself, but I thought it was interesting. Now, the Steelers walked away from a 4th round pick last year. Why? He didn't get a lot of playing time. And I'll pull this up, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this very well on the screen. This is the snap count allotment for Buddy Johnson last year, and it's not good. He only had 6 total snaps defensively, and they all took place right here, week 14. Let me try to increase the size there just a little bit. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. But most of it was special teams. And again, only made appearances in 4 games. just was not what they wanted, which is an indictment against the player. But whenever you're looking at somebody like Buddy Johnson, who was, in fact, a 4th-round draft pick for the Steelers, they get second chances. And that's exactly what's happening with the 49ers now. Now, it's just a practice squad spot. But why do the 49ers continue to load up on linebackers? Listen to how many linebackers they got on the roster. Initially, on the initial 53, they had 6 linebackers. But then you had Curtis Robinson, undrafted free agent, goes straight to IR. So now you got 5 on the active roster. You've got 1 on IR. And now you have 3 linebackers on the practice squad. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. Marcelino McCrary-Ball, who I love. I made the claim last episode. If you missed it, I am putting my stake on this dude as a starter next year. Marcelino McCrary-Ball. He's going to be a starter for the 49ers next year. Blake Lynch of Baylor football. He's already on the squad. And now Buddy Johnson. And Buddy Johnson, he's interesting for several reasons. Because I started looking at his athletic profile because he was a high touted prospect. He went to the combine last year. And so whenever they go to the combine, you get all this information. Broad jump, 128 inches, top 95% of linebackers. 20-yard shuttle, 4.07, top 94% of linebackers. Vertical, 38.5, 89%. Ran a 4.58 40-yard dash, which is top 85%. He's fast. Short, stocky, fast. And probably my favorite thing about Buddy Johnson, which I have not watched his film, I'm just going to be very, very upfront with that. His closest NFL comparable, just based off the athletic profile, he had a 79.7% match with the 49ers defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans. That's the closest player in the NFL since the combine has started, closest to Buddy Johnson. Now, does that mean he's that good? No, but it is interesting that it is a player that D'Amico Ryans wanted to go get because he fits kind of the mold of a lot of the 49ers linebackers, that they want size and they want speed. They want 240 pounds and they want speed. Fred Warner's the best at it. And then you look at Azeez, you look at DFF, you look at Drake Greenlaw, you look at Marcelino McCrary-Ball, you look at Curtis Robinson, all same. Weight and speed. They want both of those things. And the makeup seems to work, right? I think they got the recipe for quality linebacker play. And so the reason why I think you have all those guys, we talked about this last episode. We talked about this with Jason Hurley and the Cap from 49ersCap.com. He thinks they're going to be able to keep one of Azeez or Drake Greenlaw. Both are free agents next year. So the reason why they have these 9 linebackers, 5 on the active roster, 1 on IR, 3 on practice squad, is because, again, you want to strike lightning in the bottle. That's what you want. And so you develop these high upside linebackers, and maybe that allows you to let somebody walk next year. It's the red shirt philosophy that we saw with Aaron Banks. It's what the 49ers do. And so that's why they have those guys there. Which is interesting. I'm loving the chat, seeing lots of different things in there. Yeah, Coach Cruz, he says, time to put the national media in their place. The sad thing is this. I feel like the national media has been put in their place not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times with Shanahan. It's what's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. They're going to continue to double and triple down. They were wrong on Lance from the start. They were wrong on Shanahan from the start. And they want this Mac Jones. And people like Mike Florio, not our Lombardi, but the other Lombardi that does not cover the 49ers, those guys that just keep telling everybody, Mac at 3. It's the same people, and I respect a lot of them. I really, really do. I love Peter King. That dude was one of the key influencers in my childhood. I freaking absorbed everything that dude ever wrote. But it doesn't mean he's right all the time, and that's okay. It doesn't mean I dislike him. No, I don't dislike. I'm going to listen to his podcast this week. I'm going to read his articles this week. Do I agree with what he said on the 49ers? Hell no. I think he came out today and predicted Trey Lance is going to be benched by like week 7 or something. Like, no, like, again, he's a Mac at 3 guy. Mike Florio, right? He's going to just preach bad things against the 49ers no matter what. And people run with it. That's the joke, right? That's the scam. And again, most of those people I have blocked on Twitter. I do not have Peter King blocked on Twitter, but a lot of the other ones I do, just because, again, when people show you who they are, believe them. And when they're wrong, not once, not twice, not 3 times, whatever, whether it's arm fatigue or not happy with Lance or Mac at 3, or, I mean, come on. Like, it's just, I'm staying away. So anyway. Oh, what's up, Russell? We got a little friendly fire here. He says, Bears fan here. Glad to have you, man. And I appreciate you doing your research for other fan bases and checking in with the team you're playing. Incredible. I love that. And if you guys haven't yet, go check out some Bears shows. See what they got. Ask some questions. He says, don't count your chickens before they hatch. 14 O-line still. Yeah, there we go. Wait. 49ers going to win this week, but week 1 is the most unpredictable week by far. And we'll do a full scouting report. We'll do a full prediction. We'll do a full betting show. We got all that. Oh, let's go ahead. Let's get some of these, Pete. Drop your score predictions for week 1 in the chat. Let's get those, because, again, this YouTube saves everything, baby. So we get to see all of this, all of this. Khalid, he says, what do you know about the running back we signed to the practice squad? Did we officially? Can you guys help me out with here? Did he sign Abram Smith out of Baylor, which I did a full Patreon breakdown on? Oh, there we go. Kali says, my bad. He had a workout. Yes. Abram Smith. We did a full breakdown on the Baylor running backs, Tristan Ebner, and also Abram Smith. I liked Abram Smith. He fits everything the 49ers want. 49ers coaching staff loves Baylor kids. No doubt about it. But yeah, he's a 5'11", 220 guy. He's that short, stocky, thick chain mover. That's just kind of who Abram is. And if you guys haven't yet, again, very, very simple. Head over to our Patreon page. All those draft video breakdowns we have, they're there. Just go type in Abram Smith, and you can watch the coach's tape and me break them down and kind of see what I thought about him before the draft. Yeah, I liked him. I think I had him as a 5th or 6th rounder. And he fits exactly what the 49ers want. No doubt about it. He reminded me a lot of Devontae Freeman. In fact, that might have been my comp. I don't have my notes in front of me on that. But like Devontae Freeman, small little bowling ball thigh, like just strong guy that cuts well. He didn't catch on where he was. I think the Falcons I want to say. I'm going to be wrong there, but that's there as well. So if you want to go check that out, that's available over on Patreon. Go check that out. Yeah, here you go, Collie. I can't find any Bear shows. Niners are spoiled, baby. Niners are completely spoiled. That's just the way it is. Russell says, my best friend's in Naperville. What's up, Kelly? Excited to hang out this weekend. I'm excited. I'm going to be in Naperville as well. My best friend, one of my best friends lives in Naperville. At host Chuck B, if you've been to any of our draft coverage, I'm going to be crashing at his place this week. So he's going to be at the party, which I'm really, really excited. And yeah, it's game week, man. And yeah, Kelly, we're going to be partying at Soldier Field. I am so excited about this. And if you haven't yet, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Go get your tickets. We got our party Saturday night right outside of Wrigley after the Giants-Cubs game. We're going to be at the NOLA Bar and Kitchen. This is going to sell out, by the way. I think we're at 85% capacity already. So if you want to come party with us, you got to go get your tickets, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Our tailgate is already sold out. And I can tell people till I'm dead in the face. Plan ahead. I've gotten well over 40 emails. Hey man, how do I get tickets? Sorry, can't. And I don't want to keep selling because I want to make sure everybody has a great time. So anyway, so I want to make sure everybody, now you can come party with us. We're going to be in the Adler lot by the planetarium. Just look for the flags. Oh, I should show you the flag, right? I'm proud of this flag. Just look up at the sky, baby. You'll see the 49ers Rush Road Trip flag flying high, which, by the way, boom, check out this shirt. If you're coming to party with us, you're getting a t-shirt. First 50 that show up to our party Saturday night, you get a free t-shirt. So look good, have fun, party with people, have a good time, and eat some damn good food, man. I can't wait to get those brats. I'm excited about this. All right, so let's get to a couple other things just for I want to make sure it's just me today flying solo, so make sure you tag me. That helps a lot, so I can get to your questions. Steven says media has been so wrong so much about the Niners. You think they would lose their blue check mark? Yeah, keep those check marks, man. And I hate to say it, I always want to like verify information that's breaking news, but you just got to realize the 49ers, you got to go through certain sources. And even though people have been covering the 49ers for 30 plus years and have blue check marks, still getting stuff wrong on the daily. And again, they're people I listen to, I support, all those things, but you got to check the source, man. Blue check marks not enough anymore. It's really, really not. Pete, he says, I got a feeling Shanahan's going to take the ball out of Trey's hands. Yeah, that's been the entire MO. That's what they've said. You want to rely on your defense, the running game, and your offensive playmakers. You don't have to have Trey Lance throw the ball 30 times to win a game. It's going to be a lot of running. And that's the way to win. That is the exact way to win. I love it. We've got 27-17 Niners. We got 19-13 Niners. This one's going to be close. Nail biter, 100-0. 27-17. A lot of you guys been looking at the Vegas over-unders. It's at 41.5, so you guys are close to that. 24-10. I love this, man. Yeah, I hope Robbie Gould, because he didn't get to play in the Bears game last year. You remember? He was hurt. And so that's what we had Joey Sly, the buff kicker. So now that we get Robbie Gould gets to go home, that was his team. So it's going to mean a lot for him. And I love that. We got 30. Look at this, 30-13, 17-10. We got some good stuff in here. All right. Eric says this, the new Bears offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, showed in preseason that he knows Fields' strength. You're right. Fields looked great. And I'm very excited for Fields. I hope that he plays well. Now, remember, one of Fields' best games of the year came against the Niners last year. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm pretty excited, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. But the NFL is going to be better with a good Justin Fields. It just is. Do I want him to win? No. God, no. But I really hope that he doesn't have the supporting cast. They have not surrounded him with talent at all. Exact opposite of Trey Lance, in fact. Trey Lance has talent. He's had time to develop. Justin Fields, nothing. Rick, he says, hey, John, was texting you going to where I was going to be at Sunday. Can you tell me where you're going to be at? So we are going to be in the Adler lot next to the planetarium before and after the game. For those of you that know me, I'm a little bit of a wild card. I don't buy my tickets till usually the game day of. I usually wait for the prices to drop, and I don't mind. I always like sitting between the 20s, top row. Like, not top row, but top section, because that gives me that all 22 where I can look down, see the scheme and the defensive things easily without turning my head a lot. That's where I almost always sit. So between the 20s, top section. I think that's kind of where the best fans are anyway. But that's where I'm going to be sitting. Even though I haven't got my tickets yet, that's where I'm going to be. But if you want to come hang out, Adler lot, before and after the game, we will be there. All right. Got a block a user here. Now, let's see here. Let's go to some of the film that I want to talk about, which I'm really excited about this. These are some of the segments that I've been wanting to do, and I just haven't found a way to get them out there. I love D'Amico Ryans. I really, really do. I think this is last year with the 49ers. Could have been the head coach this year, but we're going to get it. He's going to be hired next year, and I'm happy for him. He deserves it. The nickel role for the 49ers was one of the biggest question marks going into this year. You had Denard, who everybody thought was going to be that guy. He got all the number one snaps until Samuel Womack showed up and just showed everybody, boom, right? Now, the 49ers chose to move away from K'Wan Williams last year. Why? Because he couldn't defend the slot fade and just continued in our division, just getting torched. He's so great against the run. But the nickel or slot corner, right? The number 3 corner that usually lines up inside, D'Amico went on a clinic. This is a minute-long clip, and I sent it to my coaching buddies, and we were talking about it in our chat. Check this out. This is D'Amico talking about why the nickel role is so different, so important, and so difficult to kind of personnel.
The nickelback position, how it's really evolved over the past few years, but that position now, it's almost like you're a starting linebacker. So with that nickel position, you have to be able to fit the run like a linebacker, right? But the passing, where it changes when it comes to third down, right, pass coverage, those guys are athletic and sticky enough to play man coverage and defend the passes. So, but everything first and second down wise, they're getting everything that linebackers get, whether it's, using their hands versus blockers, whether it's blitzing, the angles they need to take in blitzing, what are they keying? Are they keying it back? Are they filling the line of scrimmage? So it's a lot of little intricate details that goes into playing a nickel position that guys who haven't been that close to the box before, they really have to get, some training, individualized training to just make sure they're as sharp as they can be. And those guys they've done good, right? Each week they've gotten better, and I'm excited and encouraged with the guys that we have there, and I think they can step up and play some really good ball for us.
Now, they are young at that position. Samuel Womack, who's going to be starting, he's a rookie. Diamandor Lenore, he's going to be the number 2, second year. And then Quantrez Knight, who's on the practice squad, he's an undrafted rookie. Now, you could talk about Dante Johnson being in there, and I'm fine with Dante Johnson getting snaps at the nickel spot week 1, not week 2. You cannot put Dante Johnson against those burners underneath. That's just not fair to him. Can he play the nickel role? Yes. But again, why did you move on from K'Wan Williams, who we all love? I love Shark. He was incredible. You got to stop that slot fade. You can't do that week 2 whenever you got Tyler Lockett in there. You got to keep speed in there. So I think for week 1, I have no problem if Dante Johnson gets snaps in the slot. But I want these high upside younger players to jump in there. Now, listen to, and I want to bracket this conversation sticking on the nickel position, Adam Peters, who we don't get to hear a lot from, talking about Samuel Womack and kind of where they found him and what that's been like.
With Sam, it sounds like he came on the radar late, but really I think back in August of that year, Ryan Kesnick, who's our Midwest scout, said he's one of his guys that he's convicted on. So we had our eyes on him from then. And then really just throughout the process, we noticed his ball skills, his length, something like we really look at as a guy's length compared to their height, and he measures it like a 6-foot guy. And he actually saw that in some of the preseason games this year, able to get that ball out on the interception and then making the play over the middle. So really, I think it was another collaborative effort with our scouts. Our R&D loved him in terms of his metrics and all that. So we're really excited where he's at, and hopefully he's competing for a spot right now.
I like a lot of what he said because, again, a lot of times nickel players are smaller, shorter, not smaller, right? And so it's not just height. We talk about height all the time. It's way more than that. When we were personnel and whenever I was coaching, Will and nickel were the most difficult spots for a defense, okay? And here was basically what you would do. We would put the most athletic person on defense at the will linebacker position because they have to run vertical with number 3 wide receiver. So if the 3-by-1 sets, which is probably the most prominent sets in the NFL today, where you have 3 eligible receivers on one side, 1 eligible on the other side, it allows you to kind of dictate your coverage on the back end and create man-to-man situations. But anyway, having said all that, the will linebacker needs to be the most athletic because if they do a trips formation, and almost all thing, and this is why Fred Warner, who is our Mike linebacker, plays will whenever there's a trips formation out there because he can run down the field with anybody, right? He's that damn fast. So anyway, personnel decisions, that will linebacker, the most athletic linebacker player on your team. That's who you want to put there on the defensive side. Now, the nickel linebacker was different. Who's the toughest secondary player you got? Who's toughest? Because you got to cover, that's first, but you also got to stick your head in the hole, and you're in the box. So you're taking on linemen. You can't be a person that kind of retreats or is timid or if soft's anywhere in your evaluation, you got to get the hell out of there. You cannot be that player. You just can't. And so I think that's really, really important. And so you've got to have that kind of toughness, that mentality. So will, most athletic, and then nickel, who's the toughest secondary member? And you can put safeties there, whatever. They got to be tough. And so that's important. What's up, Tommy? I appreciate the gift, my friend. He says the Care Bears are toilet. Do we come out flat? 49ers have started slow in 4 out of 5 years under Shanahan so far. 1 year they started off red hot, and that was the 2019 year whenever they went all the way to the Super Bowl. The schedule says we're going to come out hot. I love the 2 matchups that we get to start with. And, if you come out 1-on-1, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right for sure. I mean, the 49ers were 2-4 last year, right? And they were able to make it to the NFC Championship. So don't put too much pressure into one game. But yes, the schedule gods have done us a favor. And for a team that historically does start out flat, you should be able to overcome that against the lesser roster. That is the Bears. Doesn't mean that it happened. And yeah, there's a chance the 49ers lose week 1. That doesn't mean, blah, 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 blah. Remember, 49ers lost week 1 last year. 49ers lost lots of games last year. They were 2-4. So, no matter what that situation is, make sure, you're good. Oh, what's up, Phil? Glad to have you, man. I miss seeing you around, bud. Hope everything's well. Hope health's great. But just know you're a missed. Philip is one of the coolest, most positive, fun people I've ever interacted with through this podcast thing, whatever this is that we started 6 years ago. So love seeing you out there. What's up, Jay? He appreciate the gift, my friend. He says, John, he predicts 24-17 49ers. Always love the level-headed perspective. Thank you, man. Appreciate your hard work to bring the faithful, amazing content. Have a safe trip to Chi-Town. Yes, dude, that is awesome. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate the support. Big time, big time. And so, let's jump back to Womack. I want to talk about him more. We don't talk about him enough because Womack jumped on the scene that first preseason game and everybody was like, oh, damn. And then he kind of rescinded and the conversation turned to, Poe, Banks, Burford, all those things. But Womack deserves more pub, just plain and simple. Now, Emmanuel Mosley, a player who the 49ers are currently trying to get a contract extension, and man, I hope they do. Young, tough, scrappy. I mean, he fought for everything he's got. I love E-Man. Here's him talking about the young rookie, Samuel Womack.
I mean, the communication is key. I think we talk every play. I take it upon myself to make sure I at least communicate with him every play, especially he's on my side, because I know he's a younger nickel, or we're used to having a veteran nickel, but younger nickel. He's been balling. He's been doing his thing, continue to learn, and I think he'll be a great player in this league.
I don't know what you need to hear, ladies and gentlemen. Womack, is he going to have problems? Every single player in the NFL has problems. Jalen Ramsey, who's a hell of a player, you can find so many plays. He got torched in the Super Bowl. He got torched in the Week 18 game by Debo throwing a pass over his head. Great players, and Jalen Ramsey is a great player. He's a very, very good player. Great players have bad plays. The other team gets paid too. And Womack's going to have negative plays. But I am excited for what he has to offer. Diamador Lenore, he showed out in that last preseason game that, yeah, he can play inside and outside. And I've been screaming from the mountaintops. I thought he was an inside guy. But he showed that he could do both. And I think Demo, he's going to be the first one off the bench for the corners week 1. Probably week 1, 2, and 3. Until Jason Verrett gets back, which will probably be week 5 or 6, depending on injuries at other positions. But if Demo didn't prove that he could be the slot guy, the number 3, Quantrez Knight. I got to talk about Quantrez Knight. I can't not talk about Quantrez. And you know what? I'm not even going to talk about him right now. I'm going to let the man, Fred Warner, linebacker 1, talk about Quantrez Knight. And I know he's on the practice squad, but wouldn't be shocked if he's one of the guys elevated.
I mean, they ask you Knight to go back there, play safety, play the nickel position. He had an interception. I think he's continuing to get better. His communication skills are great for a rookie, or for anybody, honestly, for any year. He got great communication skills. He's locked in and eager just to do whatever he can to help the team. So he's been doing really well.
Oh, I like it. Eager. And again, the versatility, which just seems like such a just a bingo word, right? That's used around this facility, from coaching staffs to players to it's just everywhere. Versatility is key, and nobody has more on that defensive side than Quantrez Knight and maybe Dante Johnson. But they're one and the same. I think Quantrez might be the new number 27. That's just my own personal stake. We'll see how long it takes him to make that. Now, before we jump forward, I got some more stuff I want to jump into, including quarterback talk. But before I do, real quick word from MyBookie. As the Bills and Rams prepare to kick off the NFL regular season, now is the time to prepare for your winning season at MyBookie. And again, whether you're a veteran bettor or first-timer, MyBookie gets you the most for your money with a double deposit bonus. It's quick and easy. Let's say you deposit $250, that puts $500 in your account. And you can use your funds to bet instantly on games, contests, props, whatever you want. So to claim your bonus, there's a few ways you can do it. Head to mybookie.ag, use promo code 49ers, 49ERS, to get that double deposit bonus, or just click on this little QR code to the right of my face if you're watching this podcast. And again, bet on team win totals, predict a Super Bowl winner, all those different things. So head to MyBookie. Your winning season starts today, exclusively at MyBookie. All right. And again, we are going to have our betting show where we're going to share some of our bets and predictions for week one, not only 49ers bets, but some other NFL ones. But if you ever want the full bets every single week that we do, yeah, that's going to be over on Patreon where we share each and every one of those, how much we bet, all that stuff. And again, 4 years in a row, positive. So join us, increases the entertainment value. But again, if you have a gambling issue or if it's money you cannot lose, do not bet with us, please. This is an entertainment thing. Not a, I don't know. Anyway, just make sure you handle your business. Now, let's talk quarterbacks. And I want to go in a weird angle on this, or trajectory, perhaps. We're going to start with Trey Lance talking about Brock Purdy, and then we're going to end up talking about Trey Lance. Okay, so let's allow, because Brock Purdy, I think he deserves a lot of attention. The fact that he beat out Nate Sudfeld. I mean, look how many quarterbacks the 49ers have over the Nate Mullins. He's backing up Minnesota Vikings. You've got CJ Beathard, who's down in Jacksonville. Then now you got Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, obviously. I mean, and again, look at those guys. Nate Sudfeld, I mean, it's impressive. People want quarterbacks that's worked with our head coach. There's no doubt about it. Brock Purdy was awesome. Now listen to Trey talk about Brock Purdy making this roster. Listen to one of the last comments. It's a 30-second clip, and I chuckled a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
Good job. Man, he's been awesome. I was super excited for him. Everyone congratulated him that he made the roster, man. I was super excited for him, and he deserved it. He earned it this whole preseason, the whole training camp, even going back to OTAs, man, the way he handles himself. He's actually older than me, so that bugs me a little bit. But it's been great having him in the room. The way he's picked up the offense so fast, his footwork, everything is still improving, and he's doing a great job. Great guy to be around.
He's older. He's older than me. He's older. We can talk about how young Trey Lance is, and it's very important you understand he's 22 years old. Just turned 22. He's the second youngest quarterback in the league still, even though there's been a whole draft class after him. In fact, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, is older than Trey Lance. It just puts things into perspective. It really, really does. Philip, thank you, my friend. He says, good to be back, John. Man, it's better having you here. I'll say that, man. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, here we go. I think I had a mess. We won week one, John, in 2021. I believe you, Tommy, and I was wrong on that one. So sorry about that. I did miss that. Yeah. Here we go. Here's a good one. James, what will be the weirdest stat week one from the 49ers? The weirdest stat that I could see? I'm going to say I could honestly. Ooh, this is good, man. I didn't prep this. I'm going live here. I'm trying to think to my prediction shows, which I've already got some written up. I think we could see 38 plus rush attempts from the 49ers, which is just stupid during the regular season. And so probably might not be the weirdest stat. Here's the weirdest stat. Trey Lance throws 17 or fewer times. shouldn't throw the ball that much. 17 or fewer pass attempts. I think it's going to be a ground and pound, defensive, low-scoring game. I'm betting the under, and I just think it's going to be one of those games that's like a 20-13, something along those lines. Like it's in the Midwest, right? And so it's going to be a Big Ten type grounded pound. That's just kind of what I see. Bulba, thank you. He says, people think Trey Lance is a bust because Jimmy is still here. If you do not provide context, then you could understand where they get from that. But if you look at the fact that the 49ers were already paying Jimmy Garoppolo $5 million, you had to, whether you cut him or not. He cut his salary lower than Trey Lance is making to $6.5 million, just $1.5 million extra. Now you throw in the incentives and all that stuff. It complicates the numbers a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you got the best backup quarterback, and the stubbornness of Kyle Shanahan still looms large because this is important. You can still trade Trey. You can still trade Jimmy, and that's what's important because Shanahan said, we're not releasing him. We're not giving away a good quarterback for free. Now you have him as a backup just in case all hell breaks loose, injuries, whatever else, but you could still trade him. If another team gets injured or something, you could still trade Jimmy. Oh, we got a new member. What's up, Daryl? Thank you for the support, and I appreciate you signing up as a new member on our YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Basically helps get your comments out there, supports the show. Nothing but positive things, so I really do appreciate that. And right off the bat, man, did anybody see Peter King's article about benching Trey midseason? Yes. And again, I love Peter King. I really, really do. I appreciate what he's done for the community and the sport, but he has been wrong on this from the start. He was really big on how much they love Jimmy Garoppolo. Then he was really big on how much they love Mac Jones at 3. Definitely talked about the arm fatigue thing several different times. It's just, he's been wrong so many times on this. And again, just keeps hedging his bets, which I think is what people do a lot of times, especially people whenever they've made it as big as he has. But yeah, so like, what's that mean? Does that mean you do not subscribe to Peter King? No, it means you don't pay attention to Peter King whenever he is offering his opinion on the 49ers quarterback room. 4 times wrong is enough for me to say, 0 for 4, I'm going to be good. I'm going to go somewhere else. So anyway, but yeah, thanks, Daryl. I appreciate it, man. And oh, what's up? We got a Connecticut guy with Wayne. I love it. Which we got the Wayne and John show, or John and Wayne show. Wayne and John and Wayne, whatever. That's tomorrow, 12:30 Pacific time. Excited about that one. That's going to be fun. Wayne's awesome. He's going to be in Chicago with us. So really, really excited about that. Croc's going to be there. We got a lot of people coming out. I think Vish is coming out. It's going to be a good time. Now, real quick before we get out of here. If you are concerned with bad quarterback play, turnovers is kind of where that could be embodied. Trey's had some issues with turnovers in training camp, 0 turnovers in his preseason games, but that's kind of one of the issues, right? Is he's had a lot of turnovers in practice. It's just what it is. But learning from your turnovers. That's what's key. In this clip right here, this is Trey Lance after a practice where I think he had 2 interceptions, I believe. But listen to, this is what's important.
We're going one day at a time, just trying to get better every single day. We know that our defense is really good, but 3 turnovers, 1 turnover is too many. So, but just because we have 1 turnover, I thought we turned the page really well. I thought the next few reps for all of us after our turnovers, we turned it around really quick, which I think is a bigger part than not throwing picks at all.
That's right. This was the day where every single quarterback, Nate, Brock, and Trey Lance, all threw 1 interception. So they had 3 interceptions on the day. Also, what I love, right? It's not me, it's we. And that goes a long way. Not whenever you're talking about interceptions, but this is one of the things I think he learned from Jimmy. You deflect praise, right? You deflect praise and everything is all encompassing. It's the team. It's the locker room. You don't call out, individual performances in a negative light, even if that's yourself or somebody you're throwing to or whatever. You build the team camaraderie that way. And I think that's very, very important, which I'm excited about that. So anyway, I'm pumped, man. Yeah, Chaz right here. I heard a bad stat the other day. Since Kyle, 9 quarterback injuries, 3 quarterback surgeries. Yeah, a lot of that's on kind of, Jimmy Garoppolo. Definitely, if you want to talk about his quote-unquote injury history. But also, he's a quarterback that stays in the pocket and will take a hit and never throws the ball away. I'm hoping Trey Lance can, one, obviously he can mitigate the pocket much better than Jimmy Garoppolo. But 2, slide, 3, throw the ball away. Those are important. Throwaways are wonderful things. Slides are wonderful things. You do not have to continue taking a beating. Don't do that. Don't do that. James says Tom Compton's still the GOAT. Wow, he even capitalized GOAT. Going to miss him this year. Well, I think he's still on PUP as far as I'm concerned. So his team is missing him as well. So he's not even active currently as far as Compton, I'm happy for him. Glad he got paid. I love seeing people get paid. And I thought for sure Tom Compton was a terrible roster keep. He proved me wrong. I love being wrong. I love being wrong. And I was wrong on Tom Compton. And I hope that he gets healthy and contributes this year for his team. But I'm okay being out with Tom Compton. I'm okay being all right without him. But I love the GOAT comment. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Lots more content coming your way. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, hit subscribe. Turn those notifications on. And until next time, stay strong, faithful.